Hello and welcome, it's Making Up the Numbers with another video, this time around Interlagos in one of the daily races, can't remember A, B or C I think. So qualifying in 13th, just a little bit of practice, not too far off the pace with a nice varied field in there, so we'll see how we go. But first we've got a new segment and it is Massive Tool Award, which I'll give to the person who requires the biggest tool, and today it's sponsored by the British government. So the award goes to me for trying to keep this Lexus straight without even starting a qualifying session. So that was it, and thanks again to the British government for sponsoring. If you ever need a big job doing, they're the place to go if you require a massive tool. So on to this race, and this is the first race I think that I've put on YouTube that requires a bit of thinking regarding tyres, etc. You can, I'm informed, do it in one stint without changing tyres, but you have to look after them. It's 11 laps round Interlagos. So I did plan on a stop, and I do stop, it's just I didn't quite know when, after lap 5 or lap 6. I think some people even go on to lap 7, and some people just don't pit at all, but it changes dramatically. So into the first corner, and not doing, by being overtaken again and getting that corner all wrong, but surviving unscathed and down into 14th place for my 13th start, with a bit of work to do and a bit of pressure from behind as well. But having said that, not racing slowly and doing okay, just got to get my braking points right and keep it cool, and we'll do fine as I get a bit of a love tap and go off the track there. But we're alright, I think we survived that without any big issues and not crashing or getting a penalty. So the guy up ahead has got a penalty, I'm assuming, because he went off as opposed to was punted off. As round this long slow corner that I do in 4th gear into the technical part of the track where people go all wrong, and I do as well, far too deep into that corner as I get a bit of sideswiped from that guy. Must say actually at this point, absolute respect, you'll see him at some point, the Russian dude in the pink, there he is, pink Lamborghini. Big respect, what a brave man, especially for a Russian, pink Lamborghini, and he drives really well, and actually I think he's quite respectful and doesn't hit anyone, so, or at least on purpose, that I saw, so big respect to him. What a brave legend he is. As we finish up coming into the last section of the first lap and down into 17th, so not a great lap at all, but only one lap done and plenty of racing left to do, so that's all good. And just keep on going. It's a clean race so far, and the goal was just to see how long I can keep that going for. And I think I had one clean race where I didn't get any penalties and had no SRs down just the other day. I didn't record it though, unfortunately, but never mind. It's braking far too late, and given the Russian, who I was just praising, a bit of a time, but no harm to him, and letting the guy in 15th, well, not really having much of a choice, but the guy in 15th going ahead. So just skipping forward slightly into the race as we continue on. This lap's pretty much just me in 16th behind this Italian onto the main straight, within striking distance I think at this point, so stay behind him in his slipstream, hoping that he'll give me a bit of an opportunity. I go take the wide line and he covers me and I can't go through, so I try and take the inside line and make the move stick just about, a bit of a love tap, but I don't think you can have much complaints, there's plenty of room. Maybe it was a lunge, I don't know, there's nothing malicious in it, I didn't mean to. As the poor Russian dude getting a penalty there, as he serves that. I think we're probably a bit too far away to capitalise on that penalty, but certainly make up some ground on him and bear down, hopefully, with a bit of force. So skipping on to lap 4, as I slowed it, because the problem is I didn't know when he was going to become solid again, and I didn't want to hit him. So the chap up ahead, as I overtake him, is the villain of the day, really. He isn't very happy with me overtaking him there, as you will see shortly. He's a bit aggressive, and I can see why he gets penalties. Quite a lot, I would assume. I think afterwards I looked at his driver rating, and his SR rating rather, and it was E. So I don't quite know how you go about getting an E. Crashing into people a lot, I would dare say. They're tucking in behind the Russian there as we come round the corner, getting another little tap, but that's alright. actually, and then he tries to knock me off as I go invisible. I don't have a choice really, I let him through. But we're still right up him. I'm not too concerned about overtaking him. It's just he doesn't really like being overtaken, or indeed it would seem other drivers. So we take the inside line as he covers across, which is fine, that's fair. As he takes normal racing line, so I go inside. I've got to run him as he tries to knock me into the pit twice, and the third time. Thank you. Not suffering very much, but I think I was respectful and gave him enough room as he goes for a vicious ram, and I slow up. The guy in 13th, that's obviously nothing to do with him, so I don't really want to take it out on him, but now there is one car in between me and the Italian, who clearly doesn't like me very much. As we come along, hoping to gather some pace on him, so he serves his penalty and we go through. Now, I don't think we see him again. I wonder if he quit slowly after that, as I was too concerned with his penalty and just got that corner wrong, went off, and unfortunately that's my penalty. Oh no, we do see him again, he's given us a little nudge. So half a second penalty, not terrible. It was a big mistake by me, I just shouldn't have done that, as I just about hold it together after the ramming from behind from the Italian. Passion, maybe? Anger or passion, call it what you will. I still don't think he should be doing that to me, really, especially after his behaviour on the straight, trying to knock me into the pits. That's a bit horrible, really. So skipping forward rather, onto lap 6, and at this point I'm really struggling with the tyres. They've worn away, I have been driving pretty hard. So the plan is to dip into the pits at the end of lap 6, as I say, that half a second penalty. I did move over to the left, just in case there was anyone behind me, but actually I probably didn't need to. But that's just the way it is. And no big concern, so I've got a 2-second gap between me and the 11th, and indeed about the same between me and 13th. So that as I'm really struggling, you'll see we're keeping this car on the track, so the tyres are just going, they're screaming and they don't want me to carry on. So we will go into the pits at the end of this lap, as our friend the Russian is continuing on. I think, based on the outcome and how it goes, that the Russian is on a no-stop strategy, because his times really fall away towards the end, and I wonder if he was just hoping he could make up enough of a gap and maintain that, despite his slower lap times towards the end of the race. But as it doesn't quite work for him, but still, respect to him. I like him, don't know why, it must be the pink Lambo. That's what does it for me, I think, obviously. So dipping into the pits, no need to refuel, loads of fuel left. I'm just getting a new set of tyres, as you see my lovely making up the numbers pit crew there, in there making up the numbers yellow and green. I'll leave you to decide why the yellow and green. I might put it out at some point. You can probably guess, actually. As we're coming out of the pit, so our out lap, long pit lane at Interlagos. So you do lose quite a bit of time going in, but hoping just for the last stint, just stick it out, get the bulk of the work done before the pit, and then just stick in some solid lap times after and see what I can do. So out of the pits into 15th, and a decent gap between me and the person 16th. And indeed, when I skipped forward, I went up to 14th, but I didn't overtake anyone. I think they just quit. As I go overtake Milo, okay, the Brit, as we come along into the main straight, which is great fun, actually. It's a lot longer than you think, and has some quite neat little signage. So I brake just before that red sign over the top there. I don't always get it right, and if you're in somebody's slipstream, you have to just adjust for that slightly and brake just a bit before you would usually, which is why I often crash, because I'm not very good. As this guy up ahead of us, who is it? Yeah, it is the Italian, who is serving his penalty and just quits. So he's gone. We thought we wouldn't see him again. We saw him once and he just decided to leave. I don't know why he does all that ramming and stuff if you're just going to quit at the end. Never mind, doesn't matter. So in 11th on to lap 9, rather going into lap 10, and a 4-second gap, so a bit of work to do. But this is our Russian friend who I think is on the no stop, and you'll see that 3.5 seconds just tumbling down before the end of this lap, with a decent gap between me and 12th. So 11th is done, as long as if I just keep going well, and 10th is certainly a possibility at this point with 2 laps left, and the guy on, I think, a no stop strategy, and he struggles to keep the car on the road. We do catch up, but we'll wait to find out what happens, as he at this point goes far too deep, far too fast into this corner and comes off the track. So that gives us an opportunity to close down on him. Just got to keep my car on the track and don't do anything stupid, which I am inclined to do. It does happen quite a lot, actually, hence the reason I invented the massive tool award. I think I'll give it to myself most of the time, unless, you know, anybody wants to offer themselves up, or if somebody does something really, really stupid and I happen to capture it on video whilst I'm racing around. We'll see how it goes. So, as I said, the guy's gap between us is now tumbling, and I'm right behind him in his slipstream going into the final lap, and it's just at what point do we make the move? As I said, I grew into respect for this chap, so although I'm faster than him and I want to overtake him, I don't want to do anything that's going to be unsporting towards him, because he just doesn't deserve it. He's been alright, he's been absolutely fine, and I really like the pink Lambo, don't know why. So I was thinking about the inside line there, but I let him go because I thought he was quite wide, and then with my tyres I can nip in, giving him loads of room and take the position into 10th. So that's job done. Again, no disrespect to him, think he's great, just was faster, have to overtake really. That is the name of the game after all. So up from a starting position into 10th, and quite happy with that really. And after some early problems and some early issues settling in, up positions, relatively safe race, one feisty Italian. I think we can probably call that a half decent race. Not the best I've ever had, but certainly not the worst by a long way, as we come across the line to finish the race. Well, I say come across the line, it's just in a moment, in 10th, and made up a 3.5 seconds on the Russian. So it just shows how badly his tyres did fade away at the end there, and he just couldn't keep the thing on the track. So the one stop, I think, for me was the better strategy. I might be able to maintain my tyres a little bit better, and perhaps do a no stop on a race like that. But up 3 positions, unfortunately not a clean race despite my lack of trying, and just a few contentious things to deal with. And this is where I found our Italian friend. I think he was an E. Where was he? Somewhere in there. I'm sure he had an E safety rating, sportsmanship rating rather, I should say. And I get a lovely blue on my B. Still D driver rating, but we'll get there at some point. C is on the horizon, I think. Just keep going up positions, and I'll see you next time.